It's This Week in Bourbon, and every day I'm taking that 240,000. And here's your headlines for December 19th, 2025. Cannabinoid regularization is now underway. A trial using a robotic dog sniffing using ethanol alcohol is now being launched. And Wilderness Trail Distillery has announced the limited edition release of its 10-year Wheated Bourbon. But before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Everybody, welcome back to This Week in Bourbon. I'm Kenny Coleman.
Ryan Cecil. It's a glorious week in bourbon, and we're talking regulations. What'd you call it? Regulations.
It's funny. I was going to say legalization, then I meant regulation, then regular, whatever it is. But anyway, the cannabinoid, cannabis, everything has kind of like dominated the news cycle. And obviously, we're not marijuana pursuit or blunt pursuit or roach pursuit or the devil's lettuce pursuit
or in the can pursuit.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be. But it does have some effect on bourbon. So we'll just talk about it because it was some headlines. But there is something new that's kind of like spread over the internet. If you haven't been paying attention to what's happening in the viral world, Ryan, is that
I have not.
There's an online debate happening. And it kind of like shows the difference between generations right now. Is that would you choose to accept a salary of $120,000, but you can be remote, or $240,000, but it requires you to be in office?
How far is my commute?
I don't think that is a part of the, let's just say on average, let's say you're in a major metro. So your average is going to be 20 to 30 minutes.
I'm going to take the 120 and then side hustle on the side.
Oh God! See, that's well, actually, I'm the very poster child of that, because not only did I get paid really well working in software, but I figured out a way to side hustle bourbon for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's the way.
Oh man, I guess you could do that. There is a lot of, like, I loved working remote. I love the freedom. I love the flexibility.
I do like showing up to an office or work, because it's like, all right, it's time to work. And then when you go home, even though I don't stop working when I get home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about being away out of office, is that you never shut it off. I never shut it off. It's like, hey, it doesn't matter. You're on the hook for Singapore at 3 a.m. So you've got to be the one on the call. So you're doing it. And being on East Coast and working with a tech company, West Coast doesn't wake up until we're way off into the afternoon.
Yeah, so you're like noon before your day has to start.
Oh, yeah. So I'm still working to 5, 8 o'clock every single night. So that didn't really change. However, and maybe it's because of like where we are generationally. I mean, if I was just starting out and I was still younger, and you're going to tell me you're going to pay me double to go in office, I'm going to go in office every single day. Like, I mean, as somebody that's young trying to build themselves up, like, I will take the higher salary all day.
Yeah. I mean, to me, if you're in a major metro city, like say you're in Atlanta and you have to drive, like, you're stuck in traffic 2 hours a day at least. And I'm
2 hours is a little bit different. That's why I said 20, 30 minutes.
20, 30 minutes. Yeah. Probably go in.
Like, that's a couple songs. It's half of This Week in Bourbon sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take 240.
That's what I mean, because you do get some of that in-person camaraderie. You get that water cooler talk. You get a lot of that.
Yeah, but the problem is when you're getting a $240,000 salary as a W-2, I mean, you're getting hammered with taxes. So take the 120, start a side hustle. You have the deductions, and that's the way to go.
You have the entrepreneurial mindset, whereas most people are worker bee mindsets.
Yeah, whereas if you talked to me 2 days ago when, I don't know, shit was hitting the fan, I would have been like, take the damn higher salary. Don't start a business. Easy. I remember the other day, I was like, I think I'm going to convince my kids not to start their own business. It's not worth it. But today I woke up like on a positive side of things. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So anyway, that's been the debate that's been happening on the interwebs. And so you got to see the back and forth. Like I said, I'd probably still venture, even with a 30-minute commute, heck, even with an hour commute, if I don't have a whole lot of things, if I don't have kids to get home to, if I've just got to build up my career and just collect money, I'm going with the money all day.
Very true.
Because you could still side hustle, but it's just got to be from 6 to 10 p.m.
That's right. Well, I guess you can take the 120 by real estate, and there you go. There's your tax savings.
See, there you go. You're already thinking how you can spend that money
paying taxes
in better ways there.
That's right.
All right, so we got a new bourbon in front of us, or a new rye whiskey.
New rye.
It is coming from our good friend Pablo
Moi,
the team
and Chad
over at Rare Character.
So it came from our buddy Chad Watson, one of the Chads on It's Bourbon Night. But this is their Hearst Knoll. It's a 7-year Kentucky straight rye whiskey, 101 proof. And I was reading a little bit about it. They said, rye whiskey's really great for old fashions, Manhattans, which I agree. Make your old fashions and Manhattans with rye. It's much better. But I from what I'm gathering, I think this is roughly around $50, $60.
That's pretty good.
This is kind of like more, because Rare Character is like, their model is, so it blows my mind. I don't understand it. I mean, I know they have like exceptional series and Rare Characters, then Brook Hills, then Cassidy's, and I'm like, what's the difference in all of them? And all the Rare Characters are all single barrels, so they're different. They're different codes, this and that. But obviously, he's got a great thing going. It's very highly sought after. But I think this is their move into trying to get like a more approachable, everyday kind of offering. So,
and what's this called?
Hearst Knoll.
Hearst Knoll.
Yep. And so
Kentucky
they're taking a cognac bottle, putting another vintage label on it.
Cool. Haven't seen that one before.
No.
Wow, how inventive.
Yeah. People love them though.
I guess so.
I love rye whiskey. People are like, why do you prefer rye? And I'm like, well, if you don't appreciate rye whiskey, your palate just hasn't made it yet. It's not advanced enough yet.
Look at you. Wow. So Rye Whiskey Pursuit is going to have to be a new spin-off that you're going to have to take.
That's right.
I guess I'll take.
But I love bourbon, but rye whiskey is just so much more interesting to me these days.
Yeah, I'll take Cannabinoid Pursuit.
Cannabinoid. All right, fair enough.
So on the nose, I've been going at this for a minute. I kind of almost get like a starburst.
Yeah, it's very juicy. Ton of citrus candy, apple, lemon, citrus bombs, little green Jolly Rancher.
Taste is really good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of, if I took that pink and the yellow starburst together and I put them in my mouth, get a little blending of chew going on there.
Yeah, it's got a nice creamy, buttery front to it. And then that those candied sugars just kind of pop off the palate. And then very nice, herbal, somewhat earthy, not like grassy or anything, but more like sometimes you get earthy and oak. And that's what I'm getting out of it. So it's 101 proof, really approachable. I mean, it's got a great long finish.
I was about to say,
solid.
It's got our favorite 5-letter word. That's six letters. Smooth. It's smooth. Yes.
Good job, Pablo. Chad.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how would you rate it? Quick rating.
Yeah, I'd give it probably 3. Yeah, I'll give it 3 thumbs up.
3 thumbs up.
Yeah, for the price, it's really good.
There we go. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of the news. As you all know, here at the Trial and Error, where we record in the basement, the lodge is still happening. It's going until January 3rd. And so that is going to be the final day. That means on January 4th, maybe 5th. 5th is when we'll be here breaking it all down and de-Christmasizing everything, if that's a word.
And then we'll be putting up Valentine's Day stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have Cupid's Lounge.
I like it. Yes. Struck by Love right here.
That's right.
At Trial and Error. And then beyond that, we've had a great outpouring of people wanting to join the ambassador program. I think we've had almost 9 or 11 people join here in the past 2 weeks. So I think
incredible.
We're finally getting towards our max. But I think in California, you're a big state out there. So if you're interested, let me know. I think you could put 20 people in Los Angeles and it still wouldn't make a dent.
Yeah, it's massive. It's overwhelming. I was kind of plotting out my trip and I'm like, crap, I'm covering a lot of ground.
No, you can't do it. I mean, I don't know what the stat was, but I think just the LA County has more population than the entire state of Ohio.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it's massive. So, hey, that's opportunity. That's what we call it.
Drinkers.
And speaking of Ohio, did you know that Pursuit United is back on the shelves in Ohio?
I saw that. Yes. We got the NABCO report, which we always like. Mm-hmm. And the sales have been strong.
It has.
Here in Ohio, so we're back. Stronger than ever.
We crushed Single Barrel Saturday. Everything that was there for Single Barrel Saturday is sold out. And then now you have got the core Pursuit United products that have just been hitting, not all the cores, but you've got the double oaked of bourbon and rye, and you've got the barrel proof of bourbon and rye. And then coming soon will be...
And there's Twice Toasted, too.
Yeah, a couple cases of Twice Toasted made it out there.
Yep.
And then coming soon will be the relaunch of United Bourbon and Rye at 88 proof. So if you see anything in old packaging, it's coming down to the very last few bottles in the entire state. So if you want...
Get those dusty bottles.
The vintage side of things. Yeah, go snag one up there. All right, you ready to start hitting up with some marijuana release news?
Let's go. I love it.
All right. So I'm not going to, there's a lot here, so I'm going to kind of skip over this a little bit. But, we've talked about it a little bit of how there is the regulation of marijuana that's being put in effect just because of closing the loophole on the 2018 Farm Bill. And I saw that there was a new Safety and Regulation Act that was proposed, and they are going to look at this framework for hemp-derived consumer products. And so the first is that they actually have to go and now register with the FDA all of the cannabinoid products. That's food, that's beverages, inhalables, topical supplements, and cosmetics.
You ever used a topical?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Okay. I was like, oh, this cream gets me so high.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
My elbow.
That's why I take a little bourbon and I put it right there on my neck.
That's
It's like a little bit of cologne right there. And then it's going to have testing requirements to make sure that there's no pesticides, heavy metals, chemical byproducts, or additives. There's also FDA is going to be taking care of the manufacturing, testing, and control process. There's also going to be bans on harmful ingredients like dangerous chemicals, excessive levels of THC. There's no untested products, and it's going to prohibit synthetic cannabinoids from the market as well. It's also going to make sure that the FDA has the authority to recall any products when necessary, and they can also, the imported products also have to meet these particular standards as well. Now, on the consumer side, it's going to be a new federal age limit. So you have to be at least 21 years old to be able to purchase any of these. It's going to require accurate label with truth in accuracy labeling, whatever you want to call it. And then it's going to have to make sure that everything has to be childproof. There's going to be no added flavors, and you can't have anything on your label that would appeal to children, such as cartoons or imagery, figurines, candy, or anything like that. And then there's going to be some new things for state and federal authority that's going to establish a federal floor for significant and consistent regulation nationwide. And the act does not preempt the states beyond standardization of labeling and packaging, but states are permitted to further regulate and tax these hemp-derived cannabinoid products. In addition, all of this means that all of the money being shoveled through here as part of the regulation side, it will create a $125 million grant program to prevent young people under the age of 21 from using or purchasing. It's also going to establish a $200 million grant to create a impaired driving prevention, which is kind of like a breathalyzer, but for cannabis. And then that's what they're going to do, is they're going to kind of create this cannabis breathalyzer with that. Now, however, that was one thing.
A lot of things.
A lot has happened in 1 week. And since then, like as of 24 hours ago, President Donald Trump is also reportedly planning to direct federal agencies via an upcoming executive order to pursue the reclassification of marijuana from a Schedule I to a Schedule III drug, which is a category that includes common prescription painkillers and certain steroids. And this was discussed by congressional leaders and industry executives that would not legalize the drug, but it would make it the biggest reform in federal cannabis policy since the 1970s.
Wow. I mean, I think it's all necessary because it was kind of crazy the Wild West. You had like 100 milligram gummies and drinks, and people being like, you have a friend that you're like, oh, that's a 5. And then you find out later it's a 50, and then
that zero just got scratched off with a fingernail.
You're in your room staring at the ceiling, talking to God, saying, "I'll never do this again." But yeah, I mean, I think it's necessary. I mean, alcohol, as we know, is very highly regulated, and we kind of looked at this category and we're like, yeah, this needs to be here, but it's kind of unfair, competition wise between us, and so I think it's necessary. I mean, me personally, I've cut back marijuana usage. I don't know. I just find it that as I've gotten older, it just makes me like more tired and groggy the next day. And so, like, for example,
Let me hear your examples.
well, I hadn't done it in like
Let me hear your first-hand account.
Like 4 weeks or so. And then the other day, one of my buddies had some of those candy chocolates. And I'm like, these shouldn't be allowed because kids would see these and think they're M&Ms or something. But I partake. I took one.
You partake. 5 or 10?
They were 5s. And
how many 5s did you take?
1.
Oh, okay.
But it's like the next day, I'm just like, oh my God, brain fog, just confused, tired, this and that. And I'm like, I don't like this anymore. And when it came out, I was like, this is awesome. I love it. And so not to say I'm never going to stop, but I don't know. I'm curious if people, because they come like so readily available and accessible, and you start to use it, this and that, and then the effects are like, you're like, maybe it's just not my thing. But I know a lot of people that use it medicinally for chronic pain or going through cancer treatments, this and that too, like PTSD, a lot of different things. So it should be available.
That would fall under medical.
Well, medical, yes. But anywho, yeah, it sounds like what they're doing is trying to regulate it so that it's a legal playing ground. And then I think because of that, you will see more growth in this in the short term, because it will allow more investment, more companies to legally invest in this and get brands growing. And I think you'll see some of the bigger brands like beverage companies like Coors and Anheuser, or even some of the bourbon brands, start to bring on some of these products under their portfolio. And so, yeah, I think it'll be good for the category to see. Interesting how it will affect booze sales. I'm not sure how significant it'll be, but yeah.
We'll just have to divert. So instead of Pursuit Spirits, we just cross it out and just put like a little HC right on the side of Pursuit right over here. I would be interested because you see what was the Breckenridge Distillery, who's owned by Tilray. Right. And so like they're already, it's an overarching company that has investments into obviously whiskey and marijuana. So we'll see what happens with the blending of these two worlds, if it'll ever be allowed to be able to see like, oh, can you have a whiskey that also has THC in it? And
I highly doubt it. I mean, they're pretty strict about mixing like nicotine and alcohol or weed. I don't think.
Can you do? I don't know, anybody out there is a heavy drug user, they know what flips are called. And so like if there's a way that you could...
You're not talking about the pretzels?
No, not those. But you would know exactly. It's like, okay, cool. We'll take a shot of whiskey, and then, because you can get the THC, but it's like in an eye droplet or whatever. Yeah. And so you can do like, a little eye droplet on your tongue. And how many times do you do that? And I don't know what you would call
Modern day Boilermaker.
Yeah, there you go. It's a reverse Boilermaker is what it is there.
Yep.
All right, let's kind of go past this, because not only is it This Week in Bourbon, but it's also going to be This Week in Fawn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of the story here, but anybody that has not been on social media this week, you have probably not seen the story where Fawn Weaver went a little viral for her encounter with a middle school classmate that she didn't know, essentially publicly embarrassed him in front of a lot of people, and it went viral. However, Uncle Nearest CEO Fawn Weaver is now speaking out against this following, as she had received a ton of backlash from the interaction with the man at her recent event. And now she did share the full video encounter on her page, because she had called it that it was an awkward moment that was clipped out of context and used to paint a dark picture. And she said that she's met tens of thousands of people in public and have always given time to stop and engage and show genuine interest. And she's never turned anyone away. But she did acknowledge that she has reached out to that man, issued an apology, and said that after watching this, I could see why he felt dismissed, and I hate that, and sincerely apologize to him.
Yeah, I saw the video she played that said, like, I was taken out of context. I mean, maybe a little. I mean, she was kind of like...
Apparently, he as I watched the whole video, he came up to her.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like blindsided, I guess, like kind of like got in her face a little bit.
Had that.
But there was all kinds of people running to get in pictures with her. There was the mayor or the mayor's representative that was there trying to get a picture. And so there were just people going in taking pictures.
Yeah. And I mean, not that we've been in that situation. I mean, we've been in situations where people want to meet and talk, like at Bourbon Festival, and you're trying to be, I've always tried to be nice. And it's like, I get it. You're overwhelmed. You're trying to get to other people. But I just thought it was totally unnecessary to like pull them and be like, this guy knew me expects me. And she just had a poor lapse in judgment. I mean, we all have those, but I wish she would. It's like one of those things like, okay, you don't remember him. Just say, oh yeah, I remember you.
Just lie to his face. Yeah, just do that.
Just be nice. I mean, he came out of his way to say that. He's clearly excited to meet you and tell you that. And it's like, whatever you got going on, you just got to you got to be in that moment and meet that fan where he is. And so I understand the backlash and I understand where she's coming from, but she could have used a little better judgment. But I'm not like, there's other videos that she's done that I'm more like, whoa, that's like,
I mean, like when she took on tequila.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I actually like that one. But
it pissed off the tequila homies out there. That's for sure.
There's other videos she's done that I'm just kind of like, fine, But I don't want to get into it because I've already gotten enough hate from the last time I've talked about her. So
yeah, and not to detract from it a little bit, Mike Yates over at Cinna Bourbon, who runs that Instagram and TikTok account, he put out a really good video that kind of talked about how the message is really being taken away because what used to be a brand about Uncle Nearest and the story about Uncle Nearest is really no longer about Uncle Nearest. It's the Fawn Weaver story.
Totally.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she's made it a lot about her and her husband. And, the story, obviously is great and important to American whiskey. And she's kind of, she
championed it along for sure. But has definitely, the tone has changed in the past couple years.
Totally. Yes. And who's to say like, oh, Uncle Nearest wouldn't be, and it probably wouldn't be if it didn't have a personality like Fawn who was out there constantly. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. And to Fawn's to her, the positive aspect that she brings to all this is that I don't know anybody else in the whiskey world that is as much loved and liked and revered and gets the social engagement that she does. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you think of Jim Beam, you think of Fred and Freddie No, you think of the biggest personalities that you know in whiskey that everybody knows. Somehow, most people that follow Fawn would be like, who the hell's Fred No?
Yeah.
I don't know how she did it. Like she's been able to amass a crazy following. And I'm always amazed to see her posts and how they have thousands of comments. I'm just like, holy smokes. Like it reminds me of somebody that was it's more their celebrity rather than about the whiskey.
Yeah, totally. And I've been most impressed by her strength and determination. Like, I mean, she's been through the ringer and she just keeps showing up, keep promoting the brand, keep pushing it. And she's done it in good ways and bad ways. But I mean, I have to give her all the credit that she's relentless and she's never given up. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And she was also on my other favorite podcast, How I Built This. So if you want to go and listen,
that's a good episode.
I encourage you, go listen to that. It was a fantastic episode she did over there too. All right, let's keep this show going here. The Kentucky Distillers Association is welcoming Benson Valley Bourbon as its newest member. Located on the former grounds of old Kennebec Distillery in Frankfort, Benson Valley Bourbon is reviving nearly a century of Kentucky bourbon tradition, drawing from the land's original limestone spring. And since reigniting operations this year, the distillery has already produced more than 400 barrels, with storage capacity planned for around 14,000 barrels, and the still fills around 10 hoop barrels. I don't know what that means, but Benson Valley Bourbon joins in their craft level organization, aging between 1 to 1,000 barrels annually.
Oh, wow. Not owned by Benson Boone.
Well, I was going to say it, or I was going to say, what's the ham from Tennessee?
Oh, that's Benton's.
Benton's. Ah, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, best ham out there.
Well, it is really good ham. And if you could, here's a free plug out here for you. If you want to get one of those delicious hams, you can go and order them online. We did that for Christmas presents for ourselves one year.
Yeah, lasted like 6 months.
I ordered.
My wife's like, "What the hell are you gonna do with this?" She's like, "You can't keep it in the kitchen." I'm like, "Well,
where else am I supposed to keep it?"
It's like, put in the basement. And I was like, "Sure."
It's exactly what I did. So for it was almost a solid calendar year. I had this ham in the basement because my wife didn't want it out on the counter. So what do I do when I'm hungry? What are you doing down there? I'll just shaving ham. Don't you worry about me.
Making my daily charcuterie.
I would do that. I would go to Costco. I'd get the big thing of cheese. I'd go get the wafer crackers. And I had charcuterie probably every day for 6 months.
Nice.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
All right, here's a shout out for Bourbon on the Banks. They are going to award more than $100,000 to local nonprofit organizations from the proceeds from its 2025 festival that brought in a total lifetime contributions now to over $455,000 since 2019. And this event was powered by 70 volunteers who contributed more than 700 hours of service that were allowed direct charitable support, assigning around $20 per work hour to a designated nonprofit, resulting in around $14,000 in donations. The remaining $86,000 will be awarded to the beneficiaries selected through a competitive application process. And if you didn't know that the Bourbon on Banks Festival hosts approximately around 2,600 attendees and 80 different participating distilleries, including yours truly.
Yeah, it's been a great event for us. I haven't been since they've done it, because it's like, you have Bourbon Fest, Bourbon Beyond, and then like a few weeks later,
it's like 2 weeks after that.
It's like I don't have anything left in the tank.
Well, I mean, the good thing is we've got staff now. We've got a lot of people that we can. That's why we have brand ambassadors. That's why I have these people that can go and staff whiskey festivals for us, because obviously we're getting pulled in 92 million different directions, and so we have to balance out what we do in whiskey and our professional lives. If we were off every Monday and Tuesday and we had to work on Saturdays, that'd be one thing, but we still work 7 days a week no matter what.
That's right. But it's an awesome festival. I know the leadership team, but they're great. Our good friend Todd Ritter's part of that, and they came and picked a barrel with us, had great time with them, and so they're doing great things at the Bourbon on the Banks. And it's cool that they're donating this money to a local charity.
Yep, very much so. All right, here's our last news story, and it's not really bourbon news, but it is whiskey news in general. So Aberfieldy, I'm going to go Aberfieldy, has launched a trial using a robotic sensing system nicknamed Royal Barclay is what it's called. And this is going to be at its John Dewar and Sons maturation site near Glasgow, marking the first for the Scotch whiskey industry. Now, this is developed in collaboration with the National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland and the Scotch Whiskey Research Institute. It is a robot dog that will use to sensor and follow a path to detect small ethanol vapor leaks from aging casks. So the initiative aims to determine if autonomous inspection can help whiskey becoming more efficient and data-driven, potentially applying the same technology to routine inspections across various manufacturing sectors like chemicals and energy.
Interesting. So it's a robotic dog that goes...
And it'll go around and it'll find leaky barrels is really what it's trying to do. So it's going to go find leaky barrels to make sure you don't lose anything. So you can go and you can plug them up. And it's going to go and it's going to be able to. Now, there are other things that are happening in this realm from people that I've talked to, but most of them are putting sensors on barrels, like inside the barrel. So you can get whatever the moisture content, alcohol content, and that will be able to get you information for like the fill level that's inside there. But that's using a lot of near field communications, and maybe it's some sort of Bluetooth or short form radio to kind of like, I'll get nerdy on you, like Zigbee or Z-Wave it to kind of create a mesh network around it so you can kind of pull all that information. But I mean, this gets you out of having to put something on every single barrel, and then you just kind of set something loose in the warehouse. It's like getting have you ever seen those videos where they would send a ferret down a pipe to go and like clean it out?
Or a canary in a coal mine?
Yeah, or a canary in a coal mine. Exactly.
Yeah. I would think this would be way more cost effective because, you're putting sensors in each and every barrel, which not all of them need that. And I assume this is to track.
95% probably don't need it.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've had a couple thousand barrels that I'd say we probably pulled out 1,000 barrels, and we've only had like 2 or 3 like empties. So that's a very low percentage that they're leaking. But so it would suck to invest all that money, put sensors in every single barrel where you could just have this robo dog go,
As long as it knows how to climb ricks.
Yeah, that's true. Knows how to push the elevator button.
Yeah, it's got to be able to get up and down and go make it to that tier 6 up there too.
Yeah. It can withstand the heat.
It can. All right, that's going to be it for the bourbon, whatever we go to. The bourbon stories, the bourbon news. Stick around. As usual, bourbon release news coming up. All right, y'all, it is bourbon release news time, and we're going to start off with one that I put as a headline last week. Remember, I forgot to talk about it. You were like, Kitty, you didn't bring up the Garrison Brothers one. I was like, you're right. I completely just skipped over that in my notes.
You said in the top of the show.
I know. I put it as like a headline and completely skipped over it. Even Kenny makes a lot of mistakes. I make a lot more mistakes than usual.
Yeah,
but
Robo-Dog.
Right, it's just, hey, I already use AI to kind of put a lot of these notes together anyway, but it's on me to actually read it. So Garrison Brothers will release its 2025 Cowboy Bourbon, and this was back on Saturday, December 6th, and this is the 11th annual release of the cask strength Texas Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and each bottle is hand-selected. Well, actually, this is Cowboy Bourbon. This isn't even the one that we were talking about last week, which was the Mavericks one, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, anyway, this is their 2025 Cowboy release. Each bottle is hand-selected by master distiller Donis Todd and aged for at least 8 years. Only 10,000 bottles will be available, and the first 1,000 will be released at the distillery in High, Texas. And this will be available across retailers for a suggested retail price of $250.
Whoa.
Hey, it's their Cowboy Bourbon.
It is. And if you ever... Do you follow them
Cowboy boots and cowboy hats are expensive.
They are.
So a $250 bottle of bourbon seems pretty much in line.
I agree. Do you follow them on Instagram, Garrison Brothers?
It depends. Have you hit the follow button on the Bourbon Pursuit, and then I will notice it in my feed.
Well, no, I haven't, but
then I need to go and do that.
But it'll show their process, like, because they do the wax and the stamps and all this, and they have
very manual.
Yeah, it's very manual. And then too, they get a lot of traction when they drill in. It's crazy that they still use like the 30-gallon barrels, like, because I would assume in Texas you would want bigger barrels because it's more more evaporation because of the low humidity, high heat. But anyways, a lot of manual processes there. It's pretty cool watching them.
I mean, we took a page right out of their book when it came to having volunteers help us to bottle.
That's right.
Because they do the same exact thing over there as well.
Yep. I haven't had Garrison Brothers in 5 or 6 years.
Guess what, Ryan?
Oh, we got one?
We had talked about it, I think, last time, and would the PR gods have it, somebody might have been listening, and they said, hey, we got this new Garrison coming out. Would you like to try it? And I was like, yes, we would. We haven't had Garrison in a couple years now.
Oh, perfect.
So there we go.
Nice. Excited.
All right. So that's Texas whiskey. The rest of it, it's just regular, boring old Kentucky bourbon. So here we go. It's not really that boring. It's good stuff. But Four Roses Bourbon is expanding its small batch offering with the launch of now little tiny 375 ml bottles of small batch and small batch select that will be hitting shelves nationwide. And I'm going to go ahead and skip all the mumbo jumbo. It's going to retail for around $19 and $29 respectively.
It's fascinating. I can't remember if I was reading a report or listening to Park Street, but they see this trend, especially with like Gen Z and stuff. They're still drinking, but they're buying like smaller sizes. And I've always been like, who the hell's buying these like 375s? But apparently it's like a growing trend.
Is it? Okay.
Because of course, Gen Zers and millennials are like, well, it costs me less, but it really doesn't. They I guess in their mind, they're like, oh, I can buy this 375 for, what'd you say? They're $30,
$19 and almost $30.
Yeah. Instead of buying the $60 or $70 bottle, I mean, you're paying more per ounce, but maybe you're not. But
you're definitely paying more per ounce.
Yeah, more per ounce, but they don't care. They just want the smaller sizes, and they'll replenish as they need. So
we had a great conversation with a guest we'll have in here soon about how a lot of times that you'll have us older crowd will come in. We'll buy 6 or 12 or even 18 packs of something, but these younger people, they'll just come in, they'll just buy a can a day.
Yeah, like man, $9 can, sure.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like, you can buy a 4-pack for like 18.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make sense up there.
No,
but that's why I shop at Costco. It's just buying in bulk and saving. And I still am a whiskey geek at heart, because every time I go to Costco, I still have to go
into the liquor
store. I still got to go see what they got going on there. And every time I go in, I'm like, my gosh, now everybody's coming out with 1.75s of Barton 1792 and everything else like that, and just sell as much as you can in big packages. I can't tell you the last time I bought a 1.75 of any kind of alcohol. I can't tell you the last time. It was probably your derby parties. Making those mint juleps.
The only thing I bought a 175 was, or it wasn't even no, it wasn't a 175. It was a liter. It was Aperol at Costco.
Oh, that's a deal right
Aperol there. Spritzes were, I mean, they're still the rage, but I'm like, all right, cool. I can get liter bottles of it at Costco for the same price I can at the damn for $7.50.
Yep, I get that there. Not for spritzes. We don't really make a lot of those in my house, but paper planes.
Paper plane's good.
We're at the point where we're now making paper planes for Mexican nights instead of doing margaritas.
I could see that. I love those.
It's a nice little switch up there. All right, 2 more to go through here, and that's Wilderness Trail has announced a limited edition release of its new 10-year wheated bourbon to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the Wilderness Road, a historic trail that's near the distillery. I guess you'll find a reason to celebrate anything here. This is the only second public release of a 10-year-old bourbon from the brand. The small batch barrel-proof expression has a mash bill of 51% corn, 45% wheat, 4% malted barley, and it says has never been bottled by the distillery before. Co-founder Dr. Pat Heiss hand-selected 3 10-year-old barrels for this particular blend, and it does not have a price. It does not have a proof. But it says that it will be available at their distillery starting on December 12th, last week.
I saw they were doing like a package redesign too. I don't know if you saw that on Coming Whiskey or one of those.
I did not. But it's the nature of the game. It's like every 3 to 5 years, you gotta redo all your packaging.
Yep.
We got to start planning ours next.
Oh God. Go through that again.
No, give us another year. Give us another year. We do have to do a little minor tweak to our package. We'll share that news maybe in the future.
Yep. Oh, God.
Thanks, lawyers, for digging in and paying attention to everything we have going on.
Corporate warlords.
I know. We'll flame them next time. But for this last news article, let's talk about the good things that are happening over at Heaven Hill. They have announced the release of the fall 2025 edition of the Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond Decanter series. This time, it's an 11-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey comprised of barrels produced in fall of 2014, bottled in the fall of 2025. And the 16th national release ushers in the latest hallmark of its Bottled and Bond legacy. Of course, it's 100 proof and has a suggested retail price of $160.
All right. Well, I know the big rage has been the William Heaven Hill 19 and the 90th anniversary, but people get there, you strike out, maybe get another nice decanter of Old Fitz. It's always good.
People trying to camp out getting William Heaven Hill 19. Yeah. I think that's the spoil of riches that Heaven Hill has, is that they can just go and be like, we'll just go grab all these 19-year-old barrels and we'll just bottle them, and then we'll make everybody stand in line, and then we'll open up the door in the morning. We'll give them that big old scoop of disappointment to start their day.
Yep. Taking Old Fitz. I mean, I love the Old Fitz, but I don't know if I'd sleep all night for
it. We should probably make that another upcoming episode, is if we had an abundance of riches of great whiskey to sell like Heaven Hill did, how would we release it? What would we do differently?
Ooh.
We'll save it for another.
We'll save that for.
I think it'd be a solid episode. But that is it. That is going to do it for this week in bourbon. Had a lot of good topics and took a few different veers to the left and veers to the right as
we usually do.
Yeah, like I said, Cannabis Pursuit starting. What are you going to start? You said you had one that was going to do over here too.
Rye Pursuit.
What?
Rye Pursuit.
Rye Pursuit.
Yep.
Yeah. We got a lot of different ideas floating. Execution. That's the hard part.
Yep.
But with that, cheers, everybody. We will see you next time.
Toodles.